want to have a Sanggunian that acts as a coordinating body among student groups in the Ateneo. How can Sanggunian do this if it itself contradicts this? Because number one, Sanggunian participates in the overlapping of projects within these groups. And number two, Sanggunian essentially has the same orientation as the student organizations, which is a project-oriented Sanggunian. Every year, Sanggunian has 1 million pesos excess in budget. Does this not tell us that Sanggunian does not have the capacity to decide on which projects to do anymore? How does it decide in the first place which projects to do since their projects are so random? Conversely, Sada believes that Sanggunian should be, number one, a coordinating body among student organizations. Number two, a representational body to the administration. And number three, a legislative body to issues inside and outside Ateneo.
Sanggu has no right to regulate the different organizations such as which are under POA. Hence, we don't also believe that we should regulate organizations which are under Lions and other unaccredited groups. For example, only the Sanggunian can give you finances in order to be able to fund your thesis grants, what have you. Because we say these are important projects as a whole. Secondly, we say it's not within the scope of organizations to give services such as social schemes and subsidies, because these are inherently for the welfare of the entire organization of the entire school. Thirdly, we also agree that it's not necessarily all grants, because we say it's also part of the competency of other schools to expose their students to entrepreneurship and the like. We also agree that, you know what, we have to give student organizations opportunities. But we don't agree in necessarily completely stripping off the budget of Sanggunian. How are these projects thought of in the first place? The reason why these projects exist or that were being proposed in the first place is because executive officers, block representatives, cross representatives see a need and a service in which Sanggu can provide them. That we also focus on representing students as well. That's why in this side of the house, we give them opportunity. We give the opportunity by one, giving Sanggu the capacity to not only support organizations logistically and institutionally, but also giving specific organizations the capacity to reinforce them financially as well.
Let us go back to the core competencies of the Sanggunian: representation, student movement, integration, and services. Cutting the Sanggunian budget by 75% may mean lessening its capacity to serve the students equally. The Sanggunian branch also that will most be adversely affected are the school boards, and essentially this motion moves also towards abolishing the executive board or executive power of the Sanggunian, who are the main spenders of the Sanggunian budget. First question, why do we need to cut the budget? Are we overspending? Are we actually in debt? Again, the Sanggunian only gets the funds that they need from the SAF, and we do not have a fixed yearly budget. What's related that organizations are actually asking for more than their yearly budget. Of course, organizations are actually always will appreciate extra resources, but we have seen, as I have said, that organizations can make do and do excellently given 15K a year. 15K also is not an arbitrary number. I believe that the OSA has consulted with this number and with the COA and with organizations. Our third point is that we propose a better way of giving support to organizations, and this is through the financial grant system. We cannot just give out extra money, we have to keep it a competitive system. I have asked several organizations' president, what do you think of this motion? And they said, if you give us the money, how are you sure that we are actually going to do this, to use the money for something that's reasonable? How are you sure that we're not going to abuse it?
That you have to understand that the many students who actually use these funds are part of the whole of the structure, where the projects that we respond to here in the Sanggunian goes into the meaning of core competencies of the Sanggu, which is representation, basic services, and SNI. We have curbed our budget in terms of cap costs, and this is one thing that we really want to see. Us students have actually seen that the representation value of the Sanggunian has even increased, especially when the Sanggu financial grant was released 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and even more improved this year. And yet we ask, does the money go where it is needed? Does the money go where it is supposed to be? 500K is proposed for the whole of the Sanggunian financial grant, and 120K was also given. Independent organizations, thesis grants, student initiatives. It is the money of the students, and the SAC is part of the whole of the structure. And the funds that we have here is actually part of everyone. Lastly, if Sanggunian expenses, if you say, is bloated and opportunities of works is lessened, we say not, because we see that the students need these funds, and yet when we redistribute them, we find the viable options that they need to be distributed.
Nagsasayang lang ba ang Sanggu sa pagbigay, kaya hindi naman kailangan ng mga organisasyon ng pera? Number 2, she's saying that organizations are already excellent with its present fund. But question, if she considers that a virtue, then why is it a virtue that we encourage when we have a lot of funds available for these organizations? Number 3, you do not talk about institutional efficiency when you are all part of Sanggunian, when we are all part of Sanggunian, but very few are participating in their projects. You do not talk about institutional consistency when there are still a lot of project overlaps. We believe that instead, Sanggunian should strengthen its organizations, student groups, and Ateneo by being a representative body. Cruzada believes that Sanggunian should be a representative body to the school admin. It should be representational of the voice of the students, and I don't think you need to spend so much to lobby with the administration. That Sanggunian should, number 1, a coordinating body. Number 2, Sanggunian should be a legislative body. And number 3, a representative body. And that we don't need a lot of funds for that to happen. Thank you.